Okay, here we are the Sunday morning after Thanksgiving. About 8:30 in the morning. I'm out here working and pretty much have this top of this quarter panel along here where it was kind of overlapped and a little bit tacked and brazed, and pretty much have that taken care of. Once again, not perfect, but that's me and what I do. Not perfect, but it'll work. The part I'm concerned with now is over here. We have various different things. I don't know if this lead coming in here was from the factory. There's this indentation along here where it looks like some brazing was done, and along here. And when I was originally sanding it out, there was a bunch of body filler here. And I sanded it down and got to this, and then realized, oh, there's lead here and there's all kinds of other stuff, so I stopped. But I had already kind of sanded this corner where the metal went down. I sanded it too much and it got too thin. I tried to fill it in just a little bit ago with some weld, and it just started eating right through it like a plasma torch. But I guess I'll have to cut a little bit of that out and put some metal in there to fix it back up. Over here it looks like there's, I don't know, there's a couple of the two sides didn't come together and they added a little piece to fill in the middle or something, and there's some gaps there, and so I'm going to be filling all that in one way or another. Not exactly sure what I'm going to do there, but got to fill all that in. So that's my next step, and once I get that done, I'm done up here, and I'll be moving to underneath and working on the hole in the wheel well. So then once I get that done, I'll start working down the lower part of the corner panel with the rust there. So just a quick update to let you know progress is still happening. Alright, here we are, December 3rd, 2016, about 9 o'clock in the morning. It's a Saturday, and been working out here a bit, and wanted to show you where I'm at. Let me climb under here. This rust in the inner fender of the wheel well here, I was a little bit worried about if there's that, what else is there, and I have found more. Once I started cleaning it off under here, as you can see, there's a bit more rust here, so I'm going to have to replace a bit more. I'm basically thinking cutting about here, cutting across and replacing all this down here. The rust goes, it's hard to get in here. Rust goes down lower by the flange down here, so all that's rusted down there. So I'm just going to have to replace this whole bit, and the outside of the corner panel down here I already knew. I'm just going to replace this whole section right there. And another thing that I saw that I wasn't sure about, because I hadn't climbed on here to see, is around over here. This is the leaf spring here, and on the side here, that's completely rusted out. So that's okay, because I've already got this piece. It's part of the other piece up there that I'm going to be replacing. So let me try and be able to show you a little better inside the trunk here. That's the outside of the quarter panel I'm going to be replacing. There's the wheel well, and the other rust that I found was over on this side where you can't really see it too good, but it's this piece here that I already knew I was going to replace because of the rust up here. And the same piece goes down around the side over here, so I'll be replacing that as well. So that's not too bad. It's just that there's a little bit more on the wheel well on the inside, which I didn't know about. I was afraid of, but didn't know for sure how that was going to turn out. So where I'm at right now is I think it's time to get a little more serious about disassembly. I'm going to have to get the springs and the axle and everything out of the way to really be able to get in here and work on it. The good news is it looks like the frame rail that goes along underneath the trunk here is in good shape. It's good and solid and straight. Still good and coated, got undercoating and years of little bits of gear oil leaking out of the axle and all that over time. Stuff like that that's kind of kept it in good shape. So I'm going to start working on some disassembly here. I'm going to jack it up higher and put the jack stands into the frame up here just forward of the wheel well and all. And I think I can get them there out of the way of the leaf springs. Then I'll take off these slat bars or whatever they're called. Keep the axle from wrapping up when you accelerate. I'm going to take those off. Then I'm going to take the back of the leaf springs loose, and then get the axle loose and roll it out the back, and then take the front of the leaf springs loose. And once I've got all of that out of the way, I can get under there and get to everything and clean it off better, and be better able to see what I have metal wise and just be able to get to it easier. So that's where I'm at right now. Wanted to give you an update, so hopefully next time you see this, a lot of this will be removed. Okay, quick update. Got the two slat bars off the bottom. All 8 bolts decided to break rather than come loose like they're supposed to. Had to get out the 1/2-inch breaker bar to get them loose. They were on there in 1988 when I bought the car, and I can tell you I put them to good use for a number of years there. These rubber bumpers here were well used, so I got those loose and I'm moving on. I think I'll probably take the axle loose from the springs next, take the U-joint loose, and whatever else I need to take loose, and then take the back of the springs loose and roll the axle out of there. So that's progress. Hello, this is Charles, and we have my lovely wife Catherine filming today, so you get to see my great face. It's the 2nd of January, after 6 o'clock in the evening, and I've made some progress here. I got the axle out of the back. As you can see here, there's nothing. Still a shock hanging down there, and I got the spring off on this side. It was quite a battle. Sometime back in the early 90s, probably, I put polyurethane bushings on the back end of the spring and didn't have much trouble this time getting the bolt out. Once I cut it, and I was able to pull the bolt out, so that worked out good. But the front of the spring, probably still the original bushings from 1965, rubber with a metal sleeve in there, and the bolt just seized up in that metal sleeve completely. And I cut here and banged on it there and tried to beat it out, and it would not come. So I finally got a blade in between there and just cut the bolt off on both sides and got that out. It was quite a job and quite a headache, but that is completed. All of that to be able to get to the body work, which is going to be here and on the inside. That's the next big goal. We come around on the other side over here. The leaf spring is still on this side on the front. You can see it kind of laying on the floor there. So I still got to cut that bolt out and get that out of there. Here's the axle that I got out. It's an 8-inch axle. It was still in pretty good shape last time I used it. And I was thinking about selling it since I'm not going to reuse it, but over here on this side especially, there were some grooves from the U-bolt, where the U-bolt were on the housing there on the axle, and it just kind of dug into it. So I think it's probably not usable. Probably nobody will spend much money to buy it. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do. It still has some good parts out of it though, so I can sell that at least. So that's where I'm at now. 2nd of January. Hopefully, I don't know when I'm going to be able to work on it again, but next job is to cut that bolt and get the leaf spring out, and then I'll start on body work on the other side. So, and I'll keep updating and letting you know. And I guess that's it.